Hey folks, welcome back to our Dice Tower preview. I'm Mark, and today we're taking a look at Wildlife the card game. Wildlife the card game is brought to you by Axo Stories. It's for 2 to 5 players, ages 6 and up, and games range anywhere from 15 to 25 minutes. Forest life is wild. You must take care of the habitat of your animals. Add species, enhance them, and protect them from hunters. But be careful. There are also predators lurking and natural disasters. Throughout several cycles or rounds of play, you must collect points and prevent others from doing so. Wildlife is a quick-playing competitive game. The goal is to make card sets of different animals that generate points at the end of each cycle or round. The game is designed to be simple, fun, with high interaction between players and environmental awareness. Not only are you creating sets, but you can also mess with other players. And this is where it gets interesting. By playing a predator, a hunter, or catastrophe card, you can disrupt the forest and waterways. All right, let's dive in and take a closer look. Let's take a look at the different card types. You are creating sets in this game, and there are different animal types. But you have large life, you have small life, you have aquatic life, and flying life. These are the individual sets you're trying to create. And when you create these sets, you're looking for the individual icons that relate to that set. They all are unique, and you can easily identify what sets they go with. And below those icons on the right are paw prints. The paw prints are the points you're going to receive at the end of each cycle or round and score points. Now, there are enhancer cards that live across the top of your columns or your different sets. And they have to align with the right set in order to use them, but they will affect your overall point total for that particular cycle. So these are very valuable cards to have, and there's even rain cards that no one can affect that actually give you additional paw prints or points at the end of a cycle. So those are the main ways of scoring in the game to get those sets and get as many paws as possible and as much enhancing as you can do. But there are cards to mess with the environment. So they're catastrophe cards. These are going to affect everyone at the table. You play one of these cards and they could affect a single species or a single life, or they could affect multiple lives, wiping everyone out at the table, including the player who used the card. Now, the thing with this is that it's kind of a level set perhaps. Someone's running away with the game, you can wipe them out. There's definitely some take that here. But games play so quick that you can easily go back and do multiple games. Now, there are hunters in the game that can wipe out a single life set. And there are ways to block that though. You can actually say no hunting and stop that card from wiping out your particular species or life sets. And then there's just regular old predators that can be put into play that will wipe out a single life card. So there's lots of ways here you can see to mess with your fellow players. Now, to start the game, it's very simple. You're going to shuffle up the main deck of cards and deal 6 to each player. Based on the player count will determine how many cycles or rounds you're going to play for any particular game. And there are 3 phases to every cycle. You have the draw phase, you have the habitat phase, and then finally just the scoring phase. Drawing phase is simply if you don't have 6 cards in your hand, you draw up to 6. Habitat phase is about playing cards into your different life sets in order to enhance them and give you more points at the end of the game. Or you might be playing catastrophe cards, hunter cards, or predator cards to affect everyone at the table or some of the individual players on their different types of sets that they've created. Now, the interesting thing about scoring is that based on the different types of sets that you have, there's some variation in the scoring. Aquatic life I really like because it ramps up. The more cards you have, the more points you get. And the bird or the flying life set is dependent on the type of bird you put into play, so it's varied there as well. However, the large life set and the small life set, those have set values for each of their cards. So there's lots of different ways to score as you gather these cards and put them into play. But maybe you only have 1 or 2 cards to put into your sets and instead you're going to play a hunter on someone. If you do, they can block it with the no hunting or they're going to lose an entire life set. That's one of the big things with hunters, is they can wipe out a whole area because they get a little aggressive. Or maybe there's just a predator on the loose and you lose one single card. Lots of different ways that can go. However, the catastrophe is really, like I said before, the one that level sets everybody at the table. So maybe you have a card that's going to affect everything but aquatic life, and you're the only one with that set. That might be a good card to play. So there's definitely some take that in this game, and as each cycle comes to an end, or each round comes to an end, you'll calculate points and score them on the pad until you get to the end of the game, when you calculate the final score, and whoever has the most will be the ultimate wildlife defender. All right, folks, just a reminder once again, this has been a Dice Tower paid preview, and everything you've seen here has been in prototype form, so keep a close eye on the campaign for any changes that still may occur. Now, with that said, the artwork in this game is fantastic. I like this sketch quality it has. It's really, really nice. And I like how the different types of sets score differently, and you might focus on one over the other, also based on what cards you have in your hand. But there is take that in this game, especially when you play some of these catastrophe cards. They can really wreak havoc at the table instead of an individual level. So keep that in mind, but the games do play so fast and quick that it's easy to get back in another round or another game. You can easily play games back to back because it plays so quick. But ultimately, folks, if this looks like a game that would be of interest to you, I'm sure they'd appreciate your support. So I think that's it for me, and until next time, we'll see you at the table.